So, good evening and welcome to the County Ladies podcast. This is part of the Bergara War group of podcasts, but we're gonna solely focus on the County Ladies who play down at SSV Stockport Sports Village, and we're going to be doing it monthly. And if we get enough views and enough subscribers and enough likes, then we might increase it to fortnightly or maybe even weekly. And we're going to start off with quite an esteemed guest. We're going to start off with the first team manager of County Ladies, Steve O'Hara. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, very well. Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully, thanks for starting up a regular feature with the ladies. You know, that's any exposure that we can sort of get for the ladies team and get more people interested coming down to watch us. You know, brilliant. So thanks for having us on.
No problem at all, mate. No problem at all. And it's an absolute pleasure to be hosting it because, as you say, you know, we want to increase the take up and the interest in the County Ladies team because it's. I've been down to all your home games this year. You know, you and me have we've seen each other down there.
Yeah.
And it's great, you know. You get to have a beer watching the game, and
you do.
Well, yeah, we do. Yeah, you don't. You get to have your nice bottle of water.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. I go down with my daughter Isla and her mate Maddie and a few of the others, and they can go around all four sides of the ground. And you know, me and Maddie's dad can sit there, have a beer, and it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And the interaction with the players, the player engagement's absolutely brilliant, and that's what it's all about. You know, it really makes the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we obviously, you know, I'm sure we'll get into it, but the crowds have grown over the years, and it's great to see so many young girls now coming down and, you know, being inspired by the players. And like you say, the interaction between the players and the fans is fantastic, and the players absolutely love the fact that we've got, you know, young girls who aspire to be play football for Stockport County.
Yeah, that's it. You know, and then you know, I've got to mention really three of you girls, Kennedy, Levi, and Molly. Lucy. To be honest, I could go through the whole list. But you know, my daughter brought an autograph book down on the second or third game, and I think she gave it to Molly. And Molly said, I'll take it into the change rooms, pass it round. She came out and she had loads of signatures. And she was absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. And, you know, the girls come over at the end of the game and they always interact. They always want to talk to the players, to the supporters and have a conversation with them. How are you? How are you doing? How's your week been? And it's just great. It's great. You know, the interaction that we get is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Grassroots level, you know, the interaction. You know, sometimes you don't get that at professional clubs. I'm not saying all professional clubs, but, you know, certainly a lot of them, you know, they don't have time for you, especially in the Premier League. You know, they wouldn't even look twice at you, at some of the fans. But, you know, it's a massive part of our club. You know, we love interacting with the fans, and, you know, we get inspiration from the fans. So, you know, long may it continue.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm sure it will. And hopefully we'll get to grow it as well as, you know, doing this. We'll get to promote it a bit more, and people will come down, give it a watch, and enjoy it. All being well.
Absolutely. Listen, women's football's on the up, and it has been for a couple of years now.
It is.
You know, and it's, you know, people probably have a perspective of what women's football is, but when they come to watch it, I think that perspective is blown away, and you know, they just love coming down to watch a good, honest game of football between two sets of players that give it all and leave it all on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in a little bit, we're gonna come on to a couple of the games that I've been to, and to say it's blood and thunder would be an understatement. But you know, there's no nonsense involved. You know, there's no tackles going in and someone's rolling around on the floor, and then there's no aggro. It's just you go in hard, you win the ball, or you don't win the ball, and you get on with it.
Absolutely.
And I think that also sets a great example for the kids, but it's also good to see as well. No histrionics, as John Kieran calls it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's brilliant. So, Steve, can you give us a bit of an overview then? Because what we'll do is we'll do a bit of an overview of the club, and then we'll run through October's games and results, and how they look from the sideline, from my point of view, how they look from your point of view in the dugout. So yeah, can you just give us a bit of an overview of the club? What's the setup like?
Yeah, so we're a fully grassroots club. At this moment in time, we've no official affiliation to Stockport County. We are an independent grassroots club. We do get some help from Stockport County, which is fantastic, and long may that continue. And we hopefully grow that in the future as we progress and Stockport County both progress at the same time. We've got an adult section consisting of I'd say 3 teams, stroke 4 teams, because obviously we've got the first team, we've got our development side, which is basically the reserve side, and we've got an under 23 side, and below that we've got an under 18 side. So that's the grey area of whether they're still classed as youth or whether they're classed as an adult section. Part of the adult section. They're a very young side this year, the under 18. So I would suggest that they're still firmly part of the junior section. And then from sort of that downwards, we've got age ranging from, I think, under 8s to under 16s. And we've pretty much got this season, for the first season ever, I think one of Jane's main things that she wants to achieve is two teams at every age group, and we're not far off that now. We've got something like I think it's last count about 350 girls who all play at some age level amongst the Stockport County Ladies, or underneath the Stockport County Ladies banner. So it's quite a big setup. It's quite a large number of players that come through the setup, and what the idea of that youth setup is to produce players for the first team, and we make no bones about that from the age of under 8, under 9, and what we want to do is develop players through the age groups, and eventually making a first team debut. I think it's happened once or twice already with players since I've been at the club. I think Eva Craney-Burney was the first player to come through the youth and make an appearance for the first team. She's now playing in a scholarship in America. But yeah, so it is a pathway that we want to produce from the very small age, the babies, as Jane called them, right through to first team.
That's brilliant. I mean, just that number, 300 to 350 odd young girls just from the Stockport area now involved with one club, and I know that there are other local girls teams who have got good numbers. So it's really encouraging, to see grassroots ladies, girls football growing.
It is, and this, like I say, this season alone, we've had so many people come and join us from other clubs as well, who have been at other clubs for a number of years, and I've heard how well Stockport County set up is and how well run the club is, and they've come along and joined us from other clubs, and it's a good environment. And if anyone comes down on a Wednesday night, can see, yes, it's chaos, but what you're seeing is 300 girls who are running around just having the time of their life, learning about football, developing the skills, being with the friends. And then, we're probably this season and last season, very successful. We've won multiple leagues, we've won multiple cups, county cups, finals and stuff like that. So, and that's right from the under 8s right the way through up to the first team. So, the club is definitely growing and it's on the up. It's just a great club to be involved with.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely great. And like you say, winning, it's about enjoyment. First and foremost, it's about enjoyment, isn't it, for the underages? I mean, winning obviously helps. We all know that if you're getting beat every week, it's not as much fun. But if you're winning not every week, but your fair share of games, it's more enjoyable. But
we try not to put too much emphasis on winning with the younger girls, with the younger age groups. That's all about playing, involvement, enjoyment, playing with your friends, and then obviously steadily as we go up through the age groups, then we start to look at developments, and then we start to look at tactics as we get further on, right up till the under 18s, that's when we start to talk about developing players to win games, to make sure that we're producing winners and good footballers for the first team, which is obviously then competitive, from 21s development and first team.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely got some good footballers in the first team. I can personally vouch for that, because I've seen some great players. I think next time we do this, I think we're going to do a bit of a player profile. So we'll put a bit of a teaser out there. There's a player on loan with yourselves at the minute from a WSL team. So but we'll just leave a little teaser there for people to come back and watch next month, and when we talk about the players. So, I mean, as you said there, Steve, it's all grassroots. So what sort of detail do you go into, in tactical detail, without giving too much away? What sort of tactical detail do you go into with the ladies?
With the first team?
With the first team, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so obviously, we do a lot of analysis on our own game. We do a lot of analysis on our opposition, on how to break them down and stuff. We work on shape and formations. We are set in a formation at the moment that is working for us. We've used different formations over the years that I've been involved, the 3 years that I've been involved. But yeah, the tactical side of things, we try not to overload too much, because we feel that we're a good team anyway. So it's about teams beating us rather than us trying to work out every sinew what they're going to do. We sort of have our style of play, and we've worked on that for the last 3 years. So it's really important that when we go into games, the girls know what they're doing. They're a good bunch to work with. They're very they take the information on really well, and produce some really good results over the past couple of months. There's some not so good ones as well, I must admit. But it's a journey, and results are up and down, and it's no different to the men's game than what it is in the women's game.
Yeah, that's it. And like you say, there's been some really, really good performances. I mean, the first game of the season against was it Norton and Stockton, 3-0 win at home. That was a great performance. That was absolutely brilliant.
It was a great start, and that's the first time as a football club that we've won our first game of the season at this level. We've always sort of either drawn or we've lost one. So yeah, it was a big statement that we started really well. We haven't quite capitalised on that as yet, but I'm sure that we're going to be clicking into gear. We're only 8 games into the season. It's a 22 game season, so there's still plenty of time for us to kick on. So yeah, we're excited at what the future holds.
Brilliant. What sort of something that I've told a few friends that we're going to start doing this, and I've had so many people asking me, "Oh, can you ask this? Can you ask that?" And there's loads of questions. We could probably go on for hours. But one of the questions that pops up a lot is, what does your training schedules and your training drills look like?
So we train twice a week. The first team train twice a week. The developments and the under 23s, they train once a week on a Wednesday. But the first team have an extra night on the Thursday, so we train on a Wednesday night from 7:30 till 9 o'clock, where we work on all our tactical stuff and fitness stuff, and then on a Thursday we come in and we do an hour's analysis, whether that be from the previous game that we've played or from we're looking at the opposition for our next game, and then we do another hour on the pitch on a Thursday evening in preparation for the Sunday. We do a lot of shape work there, and maybe some finishing drills and stuff like that. So So yeah, it's good contact time. What's that, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
You know, but the standard of our league, there's teams who are having probably 3-4 hours contact time a week. So,
Yeah.
we're holding our own very well in what is a tough league.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I think one of the things that that I've noticed, and as I was saying, one of the lads who comes down with me, one of the dads who comes down with me, we noticed that the girls seem to have a very disciplined approach to the shape. Whatever shape you've given them, whether it's a 3 at the back or a 4 at the back or a 5, however you want to look at it, they have a very disciplined approach to it, and that must obviously come from what you work on in training, I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And like I say, we've spent 3 years building this team. I think I'm on 98 games now, 98 competitive games. So,
Right.
we're coming close to the 100th game now. So it's been a lot of hard work over the years and over the sort of 2.5 seasons, full seasons that I've been there now. So yeah, but what I like to do when I sign players and recruit players is round pegs, round holes. And that makes life a lot easier. Obviously, you've got your flair players who will do the good bits at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah.
But we do have one of the best defenses in the league, and we've been renowned for that for the last couple of years. I think last season we finished. I think we were 4th best in the country for defence at home. So
In the country, not just in your division.
In the country at FAWNL, which is the FA Women's National League level. So that's
Right.
tiers 3 and 4. But yeah,
Wow.
that's a stat that we're very proud of.
Yeah, and rightly so.
Yeah, it's that was a lot of hard work and a lot of, like I say, work on the training pitch of organisation. And like I say, the girls are really responsive, and they're great to work with. And when we ask them to do something, they're pretty bang on with what they do. Like, so,
Yeah.
very good, very good group to work with.
Yeah, I mean, one of the observations that I pass quite frequently is that I think teams struggle to go through or over your team.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the time they have to go wide. They don't particularly want to, but they have to, because you've got Fran Davis, you've got Liv Wilson, you've got Jem Lancaster, you've got Kennedy Owen. Just that group in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the middle there is so strong. I think teams find it really difficult, like I say, to go over or through you.
Yeah, it's a good analogy, because that middle of the park is really important. Fran's got the pace, and Gemma will head a brick if you throw it up in the air. I'm pretty sure of it. She just puts her head on anything. So she's over the past 2 seasons that we've had her, she's had some lumps and bumps on her head from just throwing her head in where it hurts. And then you've got your young players like Molly Newton, who could also do a job in there, but she's also a left back. And defensively, we're a very sound group. Last 2 weeks have been a bit out of character for us, but that's something that we now need to work on, and I'm sure we will, and we're sure we'll bounce back and we'll get it right.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, we'll come round to the to the results that we've had so far this season in a bit, and we'll have a chat around that and what that looked like. But I think, I don't know. I just think we've got. It feels like there's a lot of potential in that squad that you've got.
Oh, massive potential.
Like you say, Molly Newton. Molly's only young. I don't know how old she is, but she's only young. But she mixes it with the best of them.
Yes. She's a really good person to work with. She's very professional. She knows exactly what her job is. When she gets the chance, she's very forward in coming and speaking to us about her thoughts and stuff, which is great for me, because that keeps me honest. And we've had loads of good conversations recently about her getting a chance, which she will get a chance. And we've had them conversations, and she came on at half time on Sunday and was excellent. So people like Molly, and then we've got Liv Wilson, who can play sort of centre half and right back as well. We've got M. Licence, who's just an engine, it just never stops. And then Lily Weston, who's got a really good left foot. And when I first joined the club, she was nowhere near the first team. She was a reserve team player as it was then. But then we put her in the second season I was in charge, and she sort of cemented that place for herself. So, we've got 6 players there who are, and then you add Lucy to the goalkeeper, who makes some really great saves and is great with her feet as well. So, it's a real good mix of good, solid players, experience with Fran and Gemma. But then you've got your youngsters like Molly and Lily who do a great job as well. So, really good back 6.
It is a really solid platform for you to build on. Definitely. So you was mentioning there about sort of the levels that the girls play at. Can you just talk us through like the league and the cup competitions that you play in, and how that sort of structure looks?
Yeah, so the women's football in the UK, or in England, shall we say, is structured in tiers. So we're in tier 4. So right at the top, you've got WSL, which is tier 1. Then you've got Championship, which is tier 2. Then you have the country splits into North and South, which is tier 3. So you've got Women's National League Northern Premier and Women's National League Southern Premier. And then from there, it all splits again into tiers. So we're in Women's National League North, which is tier 4. Also in the North, you've got Midlands, which is part of the Northern. And then you've got, I think it's Southeast and Southwest, something like that. So, we're tier 4. Cup competitions, we have our League Cup, which we are in the quarter final of the plate. So the League Cup is like everyone from the league joins it, and if you lose, you get put into the plate competition. So the last 2 years, last 2 full seasons that I've been in charge, we got through the first round of the League Cup, and then we've got a higher ranked team and been knocked out in the next round. I think the first season we got Stoke, and what was the other one we got? I can't remember what the other one was, but we got knocked out of that one as well. So this year we played Liverpool Feds in the first round, and we got beaten that. So then we went into the plate competition, and we're currently in the quarter final of the plate competition. So to be in a quarter final of a national competition is really good and something we're excited about. And we've got Cheltenham in that, who are in the Southern Premier, which is tier 3. So they're a league above us. But it's a game that we're really looking forward to, and it's a game that we feel that we can win, and we think we can do well in this competition and maybe get to the final. So that's exciting. Then we have the FA. Do you want to go on?
No, go on, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, and then we have obviously the FA Cup, the Women's FA Cup, which we've just been knocked out of on Sunday in the second round. We enter that in the 4th qualifying round. So fourth qualifying round, we played Chorley this year, and we beat them 3-2. We came 2-0 behind, and then we got knocked out in the first round against Mancunian Unity on Sunday. Previous to that, a couple of seasons we've been to the second round, and the season before that we got to the 3rd round where we played Coventry United, who were at that time Championship, which was a great day out for us. A very cold day, but it was a great day out, and to be playing a full-time team, and we took the lead twice in that game as well. So we were super excited that day. But yeah, there's that cup, and then we have obviously the County Cup, which we're current champions of. We won in the final 9-0 against Runcorn Linnet last season. We've also been in the final the previous 2 seasons and been beaten on penalties both seasons by Tranmere Rovers. So
penalties, the dreaded penalties.
The dreaded penalties. The first year I was there, we drew 0-0, went to penalties, and then the second year we were winning right until the last kick of the game, and they equalised, went to penalties, and lost on penalties. But we played Tranmere in, I think it was the quarter final last year, and we beat them 3-1. So it was a little bit of revenge. And then we went on to win the cup, which was a brilliant achievement for us, because it's a cup that's close to Jane's heart. Being a Cheshire club and being the highest ranked team in Cheshire, it's something that we we target to win every season. So to win that emphatically 9-0 in a final is, was a brilliant achievement, and one that I look back on fondly, and one of the best nights as a manager that I've had. And then on the back of that, from winning the Cheshire Cup, we then played our Manchester rivals, who won their Manchester Cup a couple of weeks ago down at Chester, called the Super Cup, the County Super Cup we called it, which obviously we won 4-0. Which again, second trophy in the cabinet, which is a fantastic achievement, and one I'm very proud of.
Yeah, and rightly so. And I was at that game. I was at the 4-0 FC United game at Chester, and no disrespect to FC, but it could have been more. Could have been more because you were in control from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. We knew what type of game it would be. FC are under a new manager and really struggling this season, but they are starting to show signs of improvement. So to go there and absolutely dominate like we did was a real pleasing performance, and some cracking goals as well along the way.
I was going to say, I think Gemma Lancaster's got goal of the season nicked up there, hasn't she?
At the moment, there's time.
At the moment, there is time. 30-yard screamer, right? First time, 30-yard screamer right into the top corner. What a goal that was!
I know.
Absolute belter.
She's still telling us about it, don't we?
She's still dining out on it. Good on you, Jem. If you're watching, good on you. I follow Jem on Instagram and on Twitter, so I'll message her after this. So we talked about your goal, Jem. I mean that's great, that Steve. So thanks for that overview. I mean, that really brings us quite nicely onto the cup successes that you've had, and you touched on most of it there. 9-0 against Runcorn, which is 6 months ago. Then 4-0 2 weeks ago.
May I think it was.
Yeah, and you get into the finals and quarterfinals of the national competition. So there's obviously a lot of ability in the squad.
Yeah, I think if we
you froze, Steve.
It's a great squad, and it's probably the best squad that the club's ever had at first team level. We're excited of the type of players that we've. Are you there?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Stu?
Yeah, can you hear me, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, cool, good.
So we're excited with the squad. It's a really good balance that we've got. But if we manage to win the National Cup, that would be a massive achievement for everybody that's involved. To be in a quarter final, it's still a bit regionalised. I know Cheltenham doesn't sound very regionalised, but believe it or not, it is. And in the other quarter final on our side of the draw, there's Man United Professional Game Academy and Loughborough Lightning. So if we win, we will face the winners of that, and then we play a final against whoever's won in the southern side of things. So we are excited, and it's a competition we targeted at the beginning of the season to say we could do well in it, and we are doing well in it, and we're excited. So looking forward to it.
Brilliant. So we just talk a little bit about the league then, Steve. So I think you're currently 7th in the league. Is that right still?
Yes.
Yeah. So as we said earlier, you got off to a flying start with a 3-0 win against Norton and Stockton.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Leeds United in your division. You got Barnsley. You got Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
You've had some really good results against some really good teams.
Yeah, I mean, Middlesbrough are the big team in our league at the moment. They're the ones who are throwing quite a large sum of money at it to get players in. So they're the team to beat. We've got Huddersfield, who are also a big team, who came down from Tier 3 last season. Fylde, who also came down from Tier 3. And then you've got your big teams like Leeds, Barnsley. It's a very, very competitive league. And it's the type of league where on the day, anybody can beat anybody. You know, it really is that type of league. You know, we've been to the top teams this season and got results. We've also been to the bottom of the league teams and absolutely got battered. So, you know, it is that type of league, and it's about consistency, and it's about finding that consistency. And if we could find the consistency, then I think we could do really well in it. Like I say, you know, we've played 8 games, we've won 3, won 3, lost 4, drawn 1. Yeah, that's right. So, you know, we need to improve on some of them defeats, you know, some sloppy defeats. But, you know, that we're confident we can move up the table over the next couple of games, and then at the turn of the year, you know, everyone comes back all re-energized, and we feel that we can really push on after Christmas then to try and get as high as we possibly can in the league. To win the league will be really difficult. You know, history shows that anybody who loses any more than 2 games in the season really doesn't win the league. But we haven't played Middlesbrough yet. You know, we've got to play them twice. So, you know, but there's some really good teams, and teams who haven't performed in recent years have really started to perform this year. So you've got Chorley, who are excellent this season. You know, the manager there has done a great job, and we've got the local derby, Cheadle Stingers, who are absolutely flying. You know, and it was a great win against them when we played them earlier in the season when we won 1-0. But you know, it was a very difficult game, and that was a blood and thunder game. You know,
it certainly was. Yeah,
it was a cracker. But you know, it lacked quality, but derbies do lack quality, and you know, we came out on top on the night, and I'm sure they'll want revenge later in the season.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, I wanted to talk to you about the Cheadle Stingers game, because that was one of the best games of football I've ever seen at any level. Honestly, it was, like you say, it was blood and thunder. You know, local derby. It was a 200+ crowd, which, you know, is a big crowd.
On a Wednesday night as well.
Say that again, sorry.
On a Wednesday night as well. It was
on a Wednesday night. It was chucking it down as well. It was raining.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was horrible. But again, you know, the character of the team really, I think, got you through that game, because, again, you know, there was some sort of meaty challenges going in, and I wouldn't say there was a bit of needle, but, you know, there was a will to win on both sides, and it never spilled over, and it never got silly.
No, you know, It was like you say, it was a very competitive game. You know, the players, you know, all the players in these leagues, they know each other, and when it's a local derby like that, and we had some players who have played for us previously, you know, it was always going to be like that. You know, there wasn't much quality in the game, but what there was, you know, commitment, desire, passion. You know, and we come out on top on the night, and it was a great win.
It was,
you know, so we look forward to the return.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going down to Cheadle to watch that one. Must admit.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's worth mentioning on that night as well. You had Cara Pastel in. Is it Pastel?
Yeah.
In
Cara Pastel. Yeah.
16 years old. 16-year-old,
and that
playing
was
in a local derby, and she kept a clean sheet.
That was her debut as well. She played a couple of pre-season games for us, but Lucy picked up a knock in training in the week, and I'd asked Cara to come along just in case Lucy didn't make it. I think her dad said she was extremely nervous all day, and then she got thrown in, and she done a fantastic job. You know, very composed, very good with her feet, made some really good saves.
She did.
Got a bit lucky on 1 or 2 occasions, but that's football. That's what happens.
You need a bit of luck, don't you?
Absolutely. And you know, I was absolutely delighted for her, and you know, it was just a great story that a 16-year-old who's come up from the under-18s, never played adult football before, starts in a local derby at 16 and keeps a clean sheet. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I remember, I think me and my daughter Isla and her mate Maddie, we'd gone behind the goal, and Cheadle had a corner, and they were all crowding Cara, but she came through the crowd and got the ball, took the ball, took it down, held on to it, and I just thought, you know, for a 16-year-old, that is some character.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, the Cheadle players weren't being nasty or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but it was, like we say, it was competitive. They wanted the ball as much as the county ladies wanted the ball. And Cara said, "I'm having it." And now she went and got it, and fair play to her. I just remember it so vividly, being stood there like, going, "Wow, brilliant!"
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But that sort of thing, will not only give Cara the confidence that she can perform at double national league level, in adult level, but it also gives an inspiration to young kids, because Cara's still a kid herself, and girls looking at that thinking, well, hang on a minute, she's only 16, she's playing for the first team, so why can't I? So it's like a double-edged sword that night, and it's such a great, like I said, it's such a great story, and I was so made up that she did keep the clean sheet. And the girls just absolutely just pounced on it at the end of the game. Just I think she got player of the match voted by our players, and I think by the opposition players as well.
She did. Yeah.
So it was a terrific story, and one that we're very proud of.
Brilliant. So I mean, if we just take Cara as an example of player development, but how does that sort of look like? Well, what does that look like? Would she go out on loan? Or because obviously we've got Lucy on loan from Burnley, haven't we?
Yeah.
So would Cara go out on loan to maybe a lower tier club to get a bit of first team experience? Does it work like that, or
not at the moment? Cara's our under 23 keeper,
right.
So she's playing regular for our under 23s who are in an adult league for the first time this season. So it's still a young team, a lot of 17, 18-year-olds in that team, and obviously Cara's 16. So there's a lot for us still to learn, and she's training with us on a Wednesday and a Thursday, which is doing her no harm. So there's no reason to send her out on loan. We've got a pathway ourselves. So at the moment, she's more than capable of playing for the under 23s, stepping up into development level if need to be, or like I say, and I've said this to her, stepping into the first team if and when she needs to do so. So, I've got utmost confidence in her. She's a really good, level-headed girl. She doesn't get ahead of herself. She knows her place in the whole squad situation. We've had that conversation with her and her parents about where we see her this season and where we see her going forward. So yeah, it's an exciting time for Cara, but that just proves that our pathway works. Because we don't always have to go out and find players from outside the club, because we've got really good players within the club.
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, you just mentioned it there. That you spoke to her parents as well. And I think that shows a level of professionalism. And I it's not a professional setup, but that shows a level of professionalism and consideration, really.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a young girl, and she played a lot of pre-season games for us because we were still seeking to get the loan deal done for Lucy. So she did play a lot of pre-season games for us. I did very well for us in pre-season. I think in pre-season she probably only conceded 2 or 3 goals maximum. And played probably maybe 4 or 5 games, so maybe even more. So it was important that when I had that conversation with her, that you also have the conversation with the parents, because they might not take all the information on that you're telling them. So for such a young age, there was concerns that she'd be dropped. Well, now we've got this loan keeper in from Burnley with Lucy Farrell, but I said no, absolutely not. That's not the case at all. We want you to play regular. You'll play regular for the under 23s, and if ever I need a keeper, then I would probably call on Cara firstly, because she played for us, and that happened in the Cheadle game. We called on her, and she's done a fantastic job. So that obviously brings a level of trust and responsibility from our point of view, but it also gives her and her parents confidence that we're telling the truth and there is a pathway, and we're happy for her to step up if and when needed.
Yeah. I mean that having that pathway, that's quite something. That you don't generally get that at grassroots, do you? you know, it's generally sort of just turn up, put your boots on, and have a game, and then you might train once a week, and then that's it. But you know, you've got a pathway. You've got the reserves, the under 23s, and what have you.
Yeah, it could be very difficult, and I don't think I think I'm right in saying, but there isn't another team locally in our league who have the same setup as we have from under 8s all the way through to the first team. You know, they might have a reserve team and a first team. They might have a development team and a first team, say, but they wouldn't have a full youth section like we've got, plus a full adult section as well. So, you know, anybody who comes into the club can see that pathway straight away, that, you know, there is continuity. And like I say, from the age of 16, they start to play similar formations and similar philosophies to the first team. So when they do start stepping up to under 23s development, it's not alien to them. You know, we try and get the under 23s and the developments to sort of play a similar style to what we like to play. Again, when players then step up, you know, it's not alien to them. You know, and we've had players step up. You know, there's Darcy Bancroft in the development team, who was under 18 last season, who's played for us this season. So, you know, there is a natural pathway for players who show potential. They tend to train with us on a Thursday, so they get to know the first team players. So, you know, there couldn't be nothing more daunting than for a 16, 17-year-old to walk into a first team dressing room and not know anybody. So we get them in and we get them to train with us for quite some time, and then we introduce them into games, you know, like the lesser games, maybe a pre-season friendly, or you know, I think Darcy played in the League Cup against Liverpool Feds. Came on last 25 minutes, I think, did very well. So, you know, we do try and do it right. We try and do it so the girls don't feel out of place, and they feel comfortable when they do make the step up.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's great. And you know, I mean, when this goes out, my daughter will be watching it, and her friends Maddie will be watching it. Hi, Maddie, and Mara, and Jess, and all these kids, and they'll all be watching it, and they'll hear that message that, you know, there's the potential there to move on and move up, you know, through the age groups and then through the development squad, which
absolutely,
to girls of 9, 10 years old, that's huge, you know, because even though, as I said earlier on, even though your girls aren't professional, they're kind of role models in a way. They're accessible role models.
Yeah,
you know, at the end of the game,
it hasn't always been like that since I've been at the club. You know, when I first joined, you know, 3 years ago, you know, we didn't have crowds of over 100. You know, the crowd was probably 30, 40 maybe, if we were lucky. You know, but now our home crowds are regularly over 150. You know, and a vast majority of them are people bringing the kids along because they enjoy watching women's football, and you know, like you say, it's an inspiration for young girls to come along and be so close to the pitch first and foremost, but then to have that interaction with the players just gives them, you know, massive inspiration. And I know Molly received a really gorgeous letter off I'm guessing off your daughter's friend.
I think it was Maddie.
Yeah, I think Maddie sent Molly a lovely letter about, you know, what an inspiration the players are, and one day that she inspires to be in the first team at Stockport County, and that's come from watching the girls play and the interaction with the girls have with young girls, you know, and it was just such a lovely letter, and you know, it was addressed to the whole team. It wasn't just addressed to Molly. It was, you know, and it was such a lovely touch, and it made everyone sort of perk up and say, "Oh, this is what we do it for." You know, it's great. You know, it's not about money. We don't get paid or anything like that. We're a grassroots team, you know. So for us, it's about inspiring the next generation.
And that, like I say, I can absolutely vouch for that. You know, my daughter got Levi Rathburn's name put on the back of her shirt.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And you know, Maddie's got Molly Newton's name on the back, and I've seen M. Bradshaw's name on the back of another shirt. So that shows it's all going, even though the players don't have the name on their shirts, the supporters are, and it's great.
The M Bradshaw one is really good because that's M's fiance. That so she didn't tell us she was doing it. She just turned up one day because before the season we haven't had squad numbers. We've just sort of gone 1 to 11, but this season we decided to go with a bit of squad numbers. So when we gave M11 the first game of the season, her girlfriend turned up with Bradshaw 11 on the back, which is a really sweet touch. And and having the girls' squad numbers where they're playing the same number every week allows young girls to have names on the back. I know we don't have the names on the back, but it allows girls, young supporters to have the names on the back, and it's a really nice touch, and it makes the girls feel 10 foot tall. I can't tell you how good it makes the girls feel, honestly.
That's it. It's very much a two-way street. Very much a two-way street. Because obviously I see how Isla is after a game, and she's absolutely buzzing that Levi's come over and spoke to her, and Molly's come over and spoke to her, and last Sunday against Chorley, Kennedy was out injured, but she recognised Isla and Maddie and her friends and came over and just started talking to them.
Yeah.
And they knew they were talking to the skipper, to the club captain, and it's just great. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Well, I mean, we were going to talk about league progress there, then we've gone off, but that's good. So let's have a look what we got. The 2-2 draw with Leeds United. That was quite the game.
Yeah, I think we took the lead in that, didn't we? And they sort of went 2-1 up. I think we scored in the last minute in that game, didn't we?
Yeah, last minute.
But yeah, Leeds are always a tough task. We played them quite a few times, and it's always been tight affairs. It's always been a goal here or a goal there. We played them at Edgley Park in my first season. We beat them 4-2 on the night, and that was a really good night. The first time we played at Edgley Park. But yeah, they're always in and around the top sort of 3 or 4. They're a good side. They're strong. They're very much like the men. They're strong, physical. And they score goals. So any points we get against them are really hard fought points. Yeah.
Again, I remember that game being very, very competitive, which is great. Because we want to go and watch nice football, but at the end of the day, it's probably part of the English culture. We like to see a little bit of competitiveness in a game.
That's the one.
That's the one. Easy for me to say, but it was great. It was great. And then I think a couple of weeks later, or the following week, you played Liverpool's academy.
Yeah,
them 2-1.
Yeah, that was in the plate. And we played them the previous season in a pre-season friendly, or not pre-season, a mid-season friendly at Kirby's training ground, and we battered them 6-1 on that night. So when they come on that Sunday, we expect them to be very technical and very, keep the ball, and we didn't expect them to be physical, but they were very physical. They were far more physical than we expected.
They were, and
they give us a really, really good game, and that was another good win. It was a really good win. That I was very surprised at how well organised and how physical they were. I know they're a professional game academy, but because we'd played them previously and beaten quite comfortably. When they came and they were so physical, really, really took us back for a bit, and but we come out on top, and it was a really good team performance. That.
Yeah, it was. Like you say, it was a really good, solid performance. That. Was that the game when Kennedy? That wasn't the game when Kennedy banged her head. She bumped heads with one of the opposition players.
It was Durham, wasn't it?
Was that Durham, Sestri the other week?
Yeah.
And then she showed me a picture of the girl's head. She had a lump out here.
Yeah,
I said to Kennedy, I said, how hard's your head?
I know.
But, yeah, that's the skipper. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Okay, Steve. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the first one.
Okay, great.
thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, we'll get plenty of views and we'll get people into coming down watching the ladies. Actually, I tell you what, before we go, I've got a banner running along the bottom. County Lady next home match is Durham Sestria, Stockport SSV.
Okay, so that's been called off, though.
Has that been postponed now? Right. When I was looking around today, I thought it had been postponed.
Yeah, Durham are in the County Cup, which County Cup takes preference over league games.
Right.
So our next home game will be the 1st of December in the league play quarter-final against Cheltenham Town. So if we could get as many people down for that, make it a really good atmosphere. You know, like I say, it's a national cup quarter-final. We've never been in a national cup quarter-final as a first team. So we're really excited, and you know, we'd love to see as many people down there as we possibly can. We've got York away this Sunday in the league, which is a really big game for us. Coming off the back of a really heavy defeat in the FA Cup on Sunday, you know, but I don't hide away from you know, poor defeats. You know, I don't just talk about the good times. You know, we did take a real hammering on Sunday in the FA Cup, and you know, we need to regroup this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and go to York and get 3 points on the board. You know, and that's really exciting that we can move up the table before Christmas. You know, if we can get 6 points out of our next 2 league games before Christmas, then you know, that'll get us to Christmas in good stead, really.
Yeah, that'd be massive for you, wouldn't it? Absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Right. So, Steve, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll catch
really
you
enjoyed
again.
it. Really appreciate it, and look forward to doing it again next time.
Yeah, we'll do it again at the beginning of December, and we'll review November. And we'll talk a bit more about transfers and players in the profile, and the we'll try and get a mention in for the player you've got on loan from a WSL team.
Got 2 players from WSL teams.
2 players. Yeah, I need to sharpen up on our research, obviously. Right.
Yeah, well, to be quite honest, one of them's just been to Dominican Republic representing Poland in the under-17 Women's World Cup. She's just come back this week from that, where she got to the knockout stages with Poland. So she's back this week, back training with us this week. So yeah, exciting times.
Brilliant. All right. Cheers, Steve. Thanks for your time, and I'll catch up with you next month at the beginning of December.
Look forward to it. Thanks very much, Stu.
All right. Cheers, Steve. See you, mate.
Ta.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bergara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bergara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bergara War. Come on, County!